My name's Sarah Hippensteel-Hall. I'm with the Miami Conservancy District. I'm the manager of Watershed Partnerships, and I'm co-chair of the Partners for the Environment. And I'm here to welcome you. I'm old now, I can't see anything without my glasses. And first thing I'm going to do is introduce Leslie King.
Good evening, everyone. How are you all? So instead of having the honor of introducing him, a dear friend and mentor of mine, I actually have the honor of sharing a bit of what I've learned with him over the past 3 or 4 years through really deep, open-hearted, authentic dialogue. About 5 or 7 years ago, I attended a 3-day conference in Spokane, Washington. It began with a land acknowledgement. It was powerful, and I, like many other people, felt it. We left with the desire to implement land acknowledgements in our work, and we did. We tried. I looked up the proper information. I started a few meetings and classes with acknowledging we are on the native ancestral land of tribes that lived in our region. But how do you actually do it right, authentically? How do you not make it a box that you're checking off, but a shift in our collective consciousness, awareness, and perspective? A true part of who we are and a part of who all of us are. Luckily, this was also around the same time I met Guy, and we began this discussion that we are still having today. The land we are on here today is sacred, but not just because of the history of Sunwatch and the Fort Ancient Indians. The land your feet touched this morning when you woke up was sacred too. And the land that you walk on every single day with every single step is sacred. Because all land is sacred. And the first step is carrying that awareness, along with the awareness that the cultures and the ancestral wisdom of that land still exists today. As we begin to deeply understand that and begin to live like the land itself is our mother, our home, and our teacher, we will begin to heal as people, and heal as a planet. Guy has shared with me that this region, Dayton, well before we called it Dayton, was always a confluence of 5 rivers, a meeting space where people, tribes, nations of all came together and crossed paths, a place of peace. And that, although it's hard to pinpoint exactly who the ancestors of this land are, the Osage, the Hopewell, the Adena, the Miami, or the Shawnee, that there are many, and that collectively they are all of our ancestors. And it is our land now. It is our land to call home, our mother, to care for, to steward, and to leave for 7 generations to come. So may we continue to be that place, a confluence of peace. So with that said, I welcome you tonight with Sarah Hippensteel-Hall and Eric Sauer, our co-chairs, and I thank all of you for the work that you do. Thank you.
Special thanks to Taylor Hoffman of Dayton Natural History, who we're going to welcome up here in just a second, Carlette, and the whole staff at Sunwatch for hosting us and being so gracious with our multi-year unpredictable plans. We actually did not, because I was completely didn't believe that it was going to rain today, in denial. We did not pivot to indoors until this morning, and the staff were way ahead of us and ready for that. So thank you so much for being such gracious hosts. Thanks especially to DATV, to Dale, and all of the volunteers of DAT for being with us tonight so we can go live. We are live. And so if anyone couldn't come tonight, they are able to watch us, and they don't miss a minute of us from home, and we really appreciate our partnership with DATV. They have been unbelievably great to work with, and they also did some pre-recording for some of our nomination speeches because this year is as was last year, slightly unpredictable. And so we put those speeches in the can in case we couldn't be here together. But I appreciate you being here and for all the things that you're doing to stay safe tonight. I want to introduce the steering committee who made this evening and all of the partners programs possible. All of them are with us tonight, but I want you to please raise your hand or stand up and be recognized. Michelle Burns, Tecumseh Land Trust. Steve Carney. Andy Dickerson of the Cardinal Land Conservancy. He's not with us tonight. Alexis Faust of Allwood Audubon is not with us tonight. Probably should be clapping for all of them, but we'll just... They deserve it. Bob Jurek, BW Greenway Community Land Trust. He's also going to talk in just a minute about the Greater Dayton Conservation Fund. Leslie King, University of Dayton. Matt Lindsay, Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission. Deb Oxman, who's watching from home, Bruckner Nature Center. And Kate Botchner, who is also, I believe, watching from home, the Dayton Foundation. Also, thanks to our support staff from SOCHI, which is now Strategic Ohio Consortium for Higher Education. See how I just learned that so quickly? Used to be Southwestern, now it's Strategic. Anthony Hinosa. And Kelly, she might be watching from home. She helps us so much with our programming. So thank you. Should have given a round of applause for Dale and DATV and Steve Ross. So if you're not a member of DATV, you definitely should be. It comes with definitely perks, but also they just do such great community programming for us here in the Dayton area, and we thank them. So thank you, all of you, for your time and your talent as we join forces on common causes, we collaborate on projects, we promote our common vision for the region, and we're collectively making a difference. Right? We originally came together over 10 years ago now under the leadership of the Dayton Foundation, Miami Conservancy District, Five Rivers Metro Parks, who saw an opportunity for organizations who were focused on environmental causes to be stronger as a team, as a united voice, rather than competitors for the same resources. So in a few minutes, Bob is going to come up and give an update from the Greater Dayton Conservation Fund. Tonight we're going to honor those who are dedicated to protecting our environment and providing leadership during the good times and the tough times during the ceremony. And this year's awards are made by local artists from the Yellow Springs Pottery, which is a co-op in Yellow Springs. You know, we've always tried to use local artists, and for many years we used Brother Don's leaves until he kind of retired, and were able to find such other wonderful local artists to provide us with these awards. Special thanks to our major sponsors of the evening, SOCHI, MVRPC, and Miami Conservancy District. Thanks to all of you for buying a ticket tonight, for taking the time to be together, for wearing your masks, and for all your hard work and dedication to the missions of your organization and the mission that we have together. The Partners for the Environment is an alliance of more than 40 environmental organizations, government and civic organizations, and public and private educational institutions. These organizations share the common goal of protecting, restoring, preserving, and promoting the environmental and agricultural resources of both the Great Miami River and the Little Miami River watersheds, an 18-county region in Southwest Ohio. The mission of the partners is to coordinate, champion, and leverage resources to help these organizations accomplish their goals and to celebrate our accomplishments. I know Sister Leanne is in the room. I always give her props because it was her idea that we should come together to be able to celebrate, not just come together to work on the hard things. Woo woo, Sister Leanne. This year was a real year of change and planning for us. We had a full-time or part-time staff person for many, many years. who worked out of the Miami Conservancy District office or out of other offices. But starting last year, about this same time, we signed a formal partnership with Sochi so that they could provide our administrative oversight, our fiscal management, and to really help us move forward in a way that we hadn't been able to with just a part-time staff person. So thanks to Sochi, we're working on a new strategic plan that will help us motivate us. Sentence ends right there. This year's been challenging. Last year, we dealt with COVID by throwing ourselves into the virtual realm. We did quite a few virtual trainings. This year, we focused, and we did not launch a new cohort of environmental leaders last year. This year, we threw ourselves into strategic planning. And in fact, tomorrow we have a fairly important meeting to talk about some federal grant opportunities that are coming to our region that we can only tap into as a collective, that we can't, individual organizations won't qualify, but as a team, we can hopefully bring those large size resources into our region to help with environmental issues. And I was going to say something else. And, but this year we are going to welcome a third cohort into our Greater Dayton Environmental Leaders Program, and Eric is going to talk about that just in a little bit. So I hope that I thanked everyone that I needed to thank. I didn't want to leave anyone out. I felt like this year you don't need to hear me say the same old, we need to get back in there and start doing our hard work. We really need to thank our partners. Think about the people who are making a difference in your organization. That's what these awards are for, to honor those volunteers who have worked so hard, or honor those organizations that are taking that are going above and beyond. And we really just want to say thanks. So that's what I'm up here to do. So we're going to enjoy tonight. We're going to do this quickly, and then tomorrow we're going to get back in there and work hard, because it's all worth it. And I believe I am introducing my co-chair. Hold on, let me look at I'm going to introduce Taylor Hoffman, who is now the Director of Marketing for Dayton Natural History, but had been the site manager at Sunwatch, and so she's going to talk about where we are.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Sarah. My name, like she said, is Taylor Hoffman, and I am the former site manager of Sunwatch. I am now the director of marketing for the Dayton Society of Natural History. I just wanted to start by thanking you all for being here on behalf of the Dayton Society of Natural History, to Sarah, her amazing team, and all of you for being here on this super beautiful evening. We are very happy to have you, and happy to have you at Sunwatch. I will be around all night for any questions you might have about the site, as well as our fantastic president and CEO, Tracy Tommy. Give us a wave. She will be here as well for any questions you might have. I just wanted to give you a brief introduction of Sunwatch and why it is important, and touch on its significance to our region. Sunwatch, which was originally named the incinerator site, was first excavated and reported on in the 1960s. When news came in the early 70s that the city of Dayton planned to expand a nearby sewage treatment plant onto the property and impact the site, the Dayton Museum of Natural History, which is now the Boonshoft Museum of Discovery, was contacted in hopes of recovering as much valuable information as possible. So in 1971, we began salvage excavations to collect any and all information we could before the city of Dayton moved in. As the excavations continued, a planned stockaded village, which is estimated to have been occupied for anywhere from 20 to 30 years and included apparent astronomical alignments, was revealed. The roughly 3-acre village site contained many well-preserved artifacts, the best of which are downstairs in our exhibition. If you have not been through yet, please go through and check it out. With the cooperation of the city of Dayton, the plans for the expansion of the sewage treatment plant were modified, and with the assistance of the city, numerous volunteers, scholars, and supporters, the site was saved from destruction. Soon after, yes, thank you, yes. Soon after, planning began to interpret and open the site to the public. In 1988, after 17 years of excavation and research by the Dayton Society of Natural History, Sunwatch opened to the public. The years of excavation at the site, combined with additional analysis and research, have resulted in a remarkable understanding of the site's original inhabitants. Sunwatch is considered to be the typeset or the best example of a Fort Ancient village. Today, Sunwatch combines experimental archaeology techniques, which include the partially reconstructed village outside, which you can see through the windows. I'm sorry you didn't get to walk around. We have reconstructed that village in its original 13th century locations. Combine that with our beautiful interpretive center that you are sitting in and exhibition space downstairs, we hope to educate our community about archaeology and how we can use the data collected by archaeologists to interpret the lifeways of some of Ohio's earliest inhabitants. The village reconstruction includes 3 lath and daub structures with grass thatch roofs, portions of a stockade, a native garden and prairie with plants typical of the period. Inferred astronomical alignments originate from a complex of posts at the center of the village, which have also been replaced and which lend the name Sunwatch to Sunwatch, because they were watching the sun. Because of its archaeological and historical significance, Sunwatch was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1975 and became a National Historic Landmark in 1990. Sunwatch really is a unique and immersive experience that helps our community better understand what life was like along the Great Miami 800 years ago. That's just the super high-level overview of why we are here and how we are here. Any and all questions I will take at any point. But before I let you go, seeing as I am now the marketing director of the Dayton Society of Natural History, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our upcoming event that we ourselves are hosting here at Sunwatch. We are reintroducing our harvest gathering on October 9th, which is just a few short weeks away, and it will be a night celebrating Sunwatch and the harvest with outdoor dining. The menu will be inspired by our native garden. We will have live flute music, artifact and animal encounters, and village tours. The event is going to help support Sunwatch not only by raising awareness for this beautiful site, but also to help us fundraise to match our National Endowment for the Humanities grant. The grant will help us update the deck, add ADA accessibility, update lighting, which you will all contend with as you leave here tonight. So think about that as you're walking to your dark, dark car. And all the other unsexy updates that we need to do in order to keep interpreting and educating the public about Sunwatch and the Fort Ancient people. There's info about the event downstairs, and we hope to see some of you there. I think that's it. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you all for being here, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you so much. Good luck with that outdoor event. Whatever. I'm sure it won't rain at all. We have, for many, many years, the River Stewards ended their journey right across the drive there at the point in the river. And, you know, it's a very powerful place to end a 2-day journey on the river. And so Sunwatch is a special place for so many reasons. And we hope to even increase your ability to access the river here at this point in Sunwatch. I'd like to introduce Eric Sauer to talk about the LEADER program.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Eric Sauer. I am the planning manager at Five Rivers Metro Parks and co-chair with Sarah, as Sarah mentioned. One of the things that I think is an amazing piece that I'm most excited about coming out of Partners for the Environment is the Environmental Leaders Program. And as you look around at a lot of the folks that we recognize every year as lifetime achievement, and those folks that we look up to and admire in our community of holding that environmental torch or taking those long hours and really working to advance a particular cause, you look and say, how do we replace these people? How do we continue their legacy? And the only way to do that is to introduce younger folks and new blood into our organization. And so this idea, as Sarah mentioned, this is the third cohort that we've started of the environmental leaders. And the idea is just to teach those skills and introduce some of these folks to how nonprofits work and how our environmental systems work, and get them introduced to a lot of the folks in the community, and setting up those mentor relationships, which is so important. And it's just such a thrill. And Sarah and I sit in on all these meetings and events to basically help. And one is, I think, really benefit heavily from listening to the mentors talk with the cohort environmental leaders coming through this, but also listening to these experiences and trials. And it's always amazing to really listen to the stories and the war wounds and things like that we can help the new young leaders hopefully avoid, or at least give them some ammunition and some tools to deal with that and bring them in. So what I'd like to do is introduce the cohort for the 2021 year. We've got some amazing folks that are joining us this year. We're really excited. And part of that they get to experience is going to various locations around the community. Things like the solid waste dump station and recycling center for Montgomery County. If you haven't been there, it's actually pretty amazing to see. But it doesn't sound glamorous, but you really learn a lot. We hit some of the metro parks and the new or the Huffman Prairie. We go to sometimes the water processing facility for the city of Dayton, to name a few. But we end up at Allwood or Bruckner, some of these places, to introduce these folks to some of these places they need to be aware of. So what I'd like to do is announce, and please stand up. I know a few of the cohort aren't here tonight, but most of you are. But I'd like to, as I read your name, just stand up and stay standing until we get through that list. So Lisa Zaromsky, Caitlin Brown. Is Caitlin here? Peter Evans. There we go. Kelsey Richards. There's Kelsey. Tracy Johnson. There we go. Cheryl Vargas. Jane Lynch. Jane's not here. Rebecca Rojero Victor is not here, no. And Christy Carney. And Gary Victor. Not sure if Gary. So please take a look at these faces. This is some of our future leaders that we hope to help advance in their careers over the next year. We're really excited about their areas of interest, which we hope to get them more excited about, give them some tools to learn about, and hopefully and give them some experiences they had no idea about. And that's the kind of the fun part of this whole thing. So, the fun is to watch the cohort grow together as a team, and really get to know the mentors, which I want to introduce here as well. So we're glad you're here, and we're really looking forward to working with you guys over the next year, because it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of work, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you for being here. So in order to make this thing work, we need that experience to help educate and guide. So we meet about every other month as a group. And then in the intermeeting months, at least, they're required to meet with their mentor to talk through any issues that they may be having, leadership related, job related, but also work on whatever project that they're looking forward to really working on, and discuss some of the issues that we're discussing as a group as well. So please stand as I read your names in terms of the mentors. These are the folks that are providing that expertise and leadership. So Kathy Arnett, Steve Carney, Cinda Pinkerton, who's not here, and Don Hollister's not here. Doug Horvath, I haven't seen tonight. Bill Sheeman, I know Bill's here tonight. There's Bill. Charlie Shoemaker, I know Charlie's here. There's Charlie. So these are the folks, and you can see not Kathy accepted, no gray hair there, but a lot of experience and amazing talent and expertise that we're looking forward to continue. And these mentors, this is not their first time through, and I just really appreciate all of you guys taking the extra time to participate in the program and share your wisdom and expertise with these new folks. And looking forward to a successful program, and then we'll be back, hopefully weather approving, next year to celebrate this cohort, and you'll get to hear what they've accomplished over the next year. So we'll look forward to those accomplishments. So thank you all for participating.
The Hoffman Prairie is pretty cool, especially when Dave Nolan, who really helped build that thing, takes you on a tour at the height of the flowering season. But nothing tops the solid waste management tour. It is hands down eye-opening, enlightening, and really cool. So, it's my favorite. I would like to introduce, one last thing. We are looking for 3 additional mentors. All we need is for you to have experience in your field. We help teach you how to build that mentoring relationship. We'll walk you through what it takes, so don't feel like you need to be an expert in that. But we do need three mentors, and so please see one of us after, or send us an email, or if you know somebody that might have an interest in that, we'd love to have more mentors. I would like to introduce Bob Jurek to talk about the Greater Dayton Conservation Fund.
Well, I'm representing the fund. Actually, Susan Jennings, our chair, isn't able to be here. One of our members, Charlie, is. And I'll take my mask off. How many of you have ever met Gene Woodall? Well, Gene's passed on a few years now, but Gene was an amazing person. And how about Irv Beezer? Have any of you? Okay, so we've been connected, Charlie and I, with a lot of great people. Many years ago, I'm with the B.W. Greenway Community Land Trust, and many years ago, we were going for grant opportunities at different places, and so we connected with Marilyn Shannon of the Dayton Foundation, and I asked her, what we needed to do to put in a grant, and she said, we're not really very interested in environmental. It's not that we don't believe in it, it's just our funding is for social programs, arts, culture, education. So, but not doing anything for environment. So I had met Gene previously, and so I called Gene and said, Gene, what do you think about this? He says, that can't be. We got to change that. So Gene called Mike Parks, who was just had become president pretty recently of the Dayton Foundation, and we had lunch together. And Mike said, well, maybe we can do that. We have a field of interest for the Afro-American Fund, so maybe we could have a field of interest for this. Well, it took about 2 or 3 years before we actually got a group together to start the fund. And when we did, we had a get-together at Barb and John Ryan's Quonset hut, beautiful Quonset hut over near Yellow Springs. And Dusty Hall and Don Geiger were there, and somehow we got $10,000 into the fund. And I think, again, Gene and I think Joe Granzall kind of got that money. And so at that time, we made the decision to give it to the River Institute. And that's how some of the canoe or kayaks were funded and so forth. So we were hitting the ground. Over the last few years since then, our fund grew. One of the amazing things that happened is that there was a a donor that bequested a building to the Dayton Foundation for Environmental Purposes. That person died. That was in 2008. So the building was got, and we were able to sell it and then hold the money until, no, we, but Irvin and Mike, until the market was at its lowest point in 2009, and then we invested it. They invested it. And from 200,000, it just has been growing ever since. So we have about 400, a little over 400,000 in the fund now. And over the years, it's a pure endowment, which means you can only spend 4%, which is a wonderful thing, because every dollar that anybody gives to that fund, 96% stays there. So we had grants for many years, 2 or 3. We had about $15,000 a year that we could grant. So we do 2 or 3 grants. The BW Greenway, as an example, got a grant to put some bridges over some streams in the Anderson Fen so that we didn't have to use cement blocks and slide over them and into the creek and things like that. So it was all, and then we worked with the Clark County Park District and got some interpretive signage at the Lettingham Prairie, which is right across the Mad River on the way into Medway. So that's been real successful. And but the last 3 years, we did not fund grants. 1 year to try to get a person going out and trying to recruit some fund for us. And then the last 2 years, we've been working with funding Partners for the Environment through SOCI. And we may be doing that for another year, but hopefully in a year or two, we'll be able to, again, start our grant process. The other thing that we're hoping SOCI helps us with, and any of you that are connected with businesses that have foundations, particularly environmental foundations, that's the perfect thing we would like to have for our fund. And we don't want you to give money as persons to our fund. We're not going to pass a basket because we want you to fund your own organizations. BW Greenway, Tecumseh Land Trusts, and so forth. So think about the fund. We need funding, and the other part of it we could use it for, as an example, the Clean Ohio Fund, and most of them require like a local match, 10%, 25%. So we're hoping our fund can do that as well. So that's about it, except that I want to, again, kind of give a little memory for Irv's gone, Sarah's gone, Barb Ryan's gone, Bob Siegenthaler's gone, some of our real heroes that got this started. So I'd just like to mention them and then leave.
Thank you so much, Bob. Thanks for the update. Really appreciate your dedication to growing this fund. And, if many of you know that Bob is, and I say this in a positive way, relentless about saving properties, green space all around the region, and driving additional investments into that fund. So thank you so much for all your work. Now I have to go real slow because I don't have my glasses on again to see the shape of your letters, Matt. I would like to introduce Matt Lindsay, Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, who is going to introduce the Partner of the Year Awards.
I'm with the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, and I'm honored to be able to introduce our Partner of the Year Awards tonight. The Partners for the Environment's Partner of the Year Awards celebrate those who work to protect, preserve, and restore the environmental and agricultural resources of our region. In your program, you can read all the names of the past award winners. It is quite an august list. The awards recognize individuals, organizations, and communities to honor their good work and to inspire others across the region and into the future.
Good evening. I am Nancy McHugh.
And I'm Leslie King.
On behalf of the University of Dayton, Fitz Center for Leadership and Community,
And the Rivers Institute.
on behalf of the people of the City of Dayton,
And on behalf of the more than 5,000 members of Gem City Market,
We nominate Co-op Dayton for the 2021 Partner of the Year Award for their work in co-creating the Gem City Market. Anyone who has followed the journey of the Greater Dayton Union Cooperative Initiative, now Co-op Dayton, and its tireless work in incubating the Gem City Market over the past 7 years knows why this organization is so deserving of this award.
it is the perfect example of the famous Margaret Mead quote, "Never doubt that a small group of citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has."
The people who came together to create Co-op Dayton and the Gem City Market did exactly that.
They changed the world. They did that by changing the way the world works, at least here in Dayton.
They took a geographic area of our city, Northwest Dayton, that's been historically and consistently disenfranchised and created a space where people could co-create a shared future.
They created a movement and space where the community's voice drives the conversation and outcomes.
They co-created a grocery store the community and the employees own.
They
They
co-created
co-created the
our
Gem
Gem
City
City
Market.
Market. And they ended food apartheid for more than 20,000 people in our city.
This took an incredible amount of work from many individuals who spent countless hours over 7 years spreading awareness and raising the money.
The more than $6 million needed to open a community and employee-owned grocery store.
Some of these individuals, including those accepting the award tonight, continue to lead the effort today alongside others.
It also took the sustained effort and work of the entire community and every Gem City Market member and believer for this to happen.
But they didn't just stop at that.
Co-op Dayton continues to incubate and transition cooperative businesses throughout Dayton, including Unified Power and the West Dayton Makerspace and more, as a way to continue to change the world.
Our world here in Dayton.
For the better.
So head down to Salem Avenue and support Co-op Dayton by doing your shopping at the Gem City Market.
But please first join us in recognizing and celebrating Co-op Dayton as the 2021 Partner of the Year.
For their work in co-creating the Gem City Market.
Congratulations and thank you, Co-op Dayton, for all you do for our community.
Hello, I'm Bill Sheeman. I'm a mentor for the Leader Development Program, a member of the Little Miami Watershed Network, secretary of the Ohio Scenic Rivers Association, and in 2015, I was honored to be named the Partners for the Environment Individual of the Year. In August, the Little Miami Watershed Network nominated Matthew Lawson for the 2021 Greater Dayton Partners for the Environment Individual of the Year Award. And earlier this month, we were thrilled to find out Matthew had been selected to receive this year's award. Matthew is the outgoing executive director of B.W. Greenway Community Land Trust. He has been a major force on the local environmental scene, and his accomplishments are numerous and significant. Although the Little Miami Watershed Network nominated Matthew, he could just as easily have been nominated by several other local organizations, including the Village of Yellow Springs, the Glen Helen Association, Greene County Environmental Services, Greene County and Soil and Water, and the Arthur Morgan Institute for Community Solutions, just to name a few. Matthew has generously shared his time and expertise with the Little Miami Watershed Network to help plan, organize, and grow our organization. He has been central to the success of our annual Trailblazer Adventure event and our upcoming first ever Little Miami River Summit, which will be held on September 24 and 25. With B.W. Greenway, Matthew collaborated with diverse community partners, including landowners, donors, developers, government agencies, and elected officials. He promoted sustainable land use while balancing human and wildlife needs and he increased public awareness through educational programs, newsletter, website, press releases, and public speaking. Matthew's work with Greene County Soil and Water Conservation District includes election to the Board of Supervisors and election as state representative to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, where he served as district administrator. Matthew served as chairman of the Yellow Springs Environmental Commission, where he was responsible for overseeing waste management and recycling initiatives, and helped develop the 20-year toxic waste remediation plan for the village. With Greene County Environmental Services, Matthew served as associate board member, where he assisted in various communications programs with the public and local departments of education to raise awareness of environmental protection, and he helped organize collaborative meetings to support recycling initiatives. Matthew has partnered with multiple counties, state agencies, departments of education, and local not-for-profits to protect waterways, agricultural lands, and develop urban stormwater prevention initiatives. He's worked tirelessly to foster local support for clean water, forests, open space, historic places, and wildlife habitat. Matthew has left a big impact on our region, and he'll be missed as he strives to do the same in Washington State and British Columbia. Congratulations, Matthew.
The culmination of almost a decade of study and planning on the impacts of climate change on the city of Dayton, in August 2020, the Dayton City Commission adopted the Strategy for a Sustainable Dayton. The strategy spans virtually every department in the city and lists specific projects, programs, and policies designed to make the city more resilient to climate change and to steadily reduce carbon emissions from city operations as well as from residents and businesses. The strategy begins with a critical recognition of the central role carbon emissions from human activity play in warming the climate and driving weather extremes. These effects are narratively mapped to impacts on the city infrastructure and operations, human well-being, and economic conditions. The strategy lists 115 adaptation and mitigation projects in the areas of surface and groundwater, air pollution reduction, renewable energy, waste management, land use, transportation, and finance. These projects are expected to be completed in the next 5 years. Finally, the city has created an Office of Sustainability tasked with monitoring implementation, reporting on implementation to the City Commission, and developing periodic updates to the strategy. In addition to the Strategy for a Sustainable Dayton, the Dayton City Commission adopted a resolution recognizing the current climate emergency in April 2021. The Climate Emergency Declaration also included specific commitments from the city to move to 100% renewable electricity by 2035 for city operations, by 2040 for the community as a whole, and to convert the city vehicle fleet to electric vehicles by 2035. The city has already taken initial steps to adapt its existing electric aggregation program to deliver renewable electric energy to city residents and businesses. The strategy has been a long time coming for Dayton. It presents a strong and thoughtful blueprint that will move the city in a green and resilient direction. It provides a roadmap for Dayton to strike the proper balance among a wide variety of factors that should be applied to any significant city decision: environmental protection, natural resource preservation, efficient energy consumption, wise land use, community engagement and involvement, and responsible economic development. The strategy charts a more sustainable way forward, ensuring a high quality of life and a prosperous future for all Daytonians, including residents, businesses, educational institutions, and nonprofits. The strategy for a sustainable Dayton is a first-in-the-region climate action plan and promises to vault the community into a sustainability and resiliency leadership role in the region, the state of Ohio, and the nation. Congratulations to the City of Dayton, the 2021 Sustainable Community of the Year. And we're joined by Commissioner Matt Joseph to receive the award for the City of Dayton.
I'm Michelle Burns, the Executive Director of Tecumseh Land Trust. It is my great pleasure to present Krista McGaugh, TLT's past Executive Director, with the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Partners for the Environment. Krista was TLT's first staff person and was hired as Executive Director in 2001. Her dynamic leadership was instrumental in transforming this organization into a highly regarded, accredited, and successful land trust. When Krista started with TLT, it held easements on approximately 3,000 acres. To date, the organization has preserved over 34,000 acres and 45 stream miles. She led the organization through the Land Trust Alliance's accreditation process to become the first accredited land trust in Ohio. She developed a strong staff, built a broad membership, and has created a positive and respected reputation for the land trust across the state. Her ability to collaborate and innovate was critical to the preservation of Glen Helen Nature Preserve, which was by far one of her greatest accomplishments. Krista played a key role in the establishment of the Coalition of Ohio Land Trust and served many years as its chair. She has mentored other land trust staff around the state to help build the land trust movement. Krista has advocated for funding for land preservation, land use policies, and water quality issues at the state and federal levels. In her 20 years as Executive Director, Krista has not only been the organization's champion, she has been Ohio's champion for land preservation. Krista retired from TLT on August 27th. Her infectious joy, optimism, and dedication made it an absolute pleasure to work with her every day. Past and present board members and staff are grateful for the work and energy she invested in this organization, making it a small but mighty force for preserving our farmland, water, and natural areas forever. Thank you, Krista, and congratulations.
Danson Brown is a quiet man who has made an incredible impact on Allwood Audubon and the people who come to explore and learn about nature. Danson's interest in conservation began as a young child. Growing up on a family farm, he explored pastures, woods, and creeks, which helped spark his lifelong love of birds and tractors. He and his wife, Leanne, joined the National Audubon Society in 1967, and when they moved to Brookville, it was only natural that they began transforming their large property into a refuge for birds and wildlife. Danson's commitment to Allwood's mission began in 1996 when he began volunteering for our special events while working 2 jobs, teaching mathematics at Wright State University and being a mathematician programmer at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. When Danson retired in 2004, he joined our maintenance team where he quickly became a force for nature. Danson's tractor driving skills are an important part of our land management plans. By mowing and bush hogging meadows, pastures, and prairie at the correct time of the year, Allwood is able to maintain these unique habitats for birds and wildlife that need grasslands to thrive and survive. These habitats are key components to long-term butterfly monitoring, an important community science project through the Ohio Lepidopterus, as well as a living exhibit for children and families to discover through hands-on exploration. Like many Daytonians, he shares his time and talent with other local organizations. In addition to his many contributions to Allwood, Danson is currently president of the Brookville Community Scholarship Foundation and has been involved for many years with the Brookville Soccer Association. Danson grew his love for woodworking while volunteering at Carriage Hill Metro Park, and Allwood has gained the benefit of his skills and creativity. Danson has taken his extensive mathematical skills and creatively applied them to designing and building stunning exhibits for Allwood Audubon. While Danson has made many types of exhibits for Allwood, the exhibits housing our wildlife ambassadors, including turtles and venomous and non-venomous snakes, are particularly noteworthy. With input from staff, Danson takes a rough idea and turns it into an exhibit that is safe and spacious for the animal, protects and brings the visitor near, and is aesthetically appealing. Allowing visitors close accessibility to these animals encourages people's curiosity. They learn about Ohio wildlife, dispel misunderstandings and fears, and increase understanding and a desire to protect these creatures. Though much of Danson's work is behind the scenes, the results of his numerous projects are a tremendous benefit to the public as they enjoy safe interactions with reptiles, amphibians, and raptors. Visitors enjoy exploring the various habitats within our nature sanctuary without ever knowing the skills and hours of work it takes to maintain them. Danson's long-lasting contributions to Allwood will be enjoyed by our visitors for years to come. We are thrilled that Partners for the Environment has recognized Danson for his numerous contributions with the Environment Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you to all our award winners and nominators for your work and for your inspiration.
Another round of applause for our award winners. Thank you so much, Matt. And thank you so much, DATV, for providing those videos and everybody who took the time to to go in and record those. That just means that we have those to share in the future. And I see so many of our past award winners, and you know, this night is all about saying thanks. And so thanks for tonight's this year's special award winners, and thanks to all of you who continue to be part of our network, to be part of our team as we tackle some of these very challenging issues. Side note, if you did get one of those beautiful awards, I have a box, some wrapping, and some brochures about where the art came from. So come up and grab that too. It's all about local art. I can see some fans over there. So thanks. Just a final few words. Thanks to everybody for taking the time to come out tonight and for doing all the things that we need to do to stay safe, despite the rain, that we were able to come together and so thanks so much for making effort. Thanks to Tracy, Tommy, and to your amazing staff. We love working with the Dayton Society of Natural History and all of your facilities, and we especially love being here at Sunwatch. Finally, and maybe someday you'll see it when it's come to their event. There's brochures downstairs. Thanks again to our steering committee and to the planning committee tonight that worked really hard to make it happen. And I'd be remiss, and I'd get in trouble too, if I didn't say that my greatest thanks is to my beloved husband, Dusty Hall. Thanks for allowing me to come to and do this, and for coming tonight and to being my biggest supporter. So thank you. There you are. I see you. I didn't forget I saved you for last. All right, so travel safely down the dark, dark pathway, and we will see you again in a year.